top of the morning to you, and welcome to the Kill James Bond podcast. I am Abigail O'Thorne. Joining me is Alice O'Coldwell O'Kelly and O'Devon. I am broadcasting. I have a pig under one hand. I have a pipe bomb and some whiskey in the other. I'm very Catholic, and I'm ready to talk about a film that very accurately depicts the Irish people, as far as I know. I'm wearing a huge green hat. I'm kissing the Blarney Stone. I'm waving hello to the Loch Ness Monster. And
to be sure,
theme song.
And that does not make for the best analysis, even if you knew something about terrorism, which you do not.
Hello and welcome to the Cultural Insensitivity Hour. As we were so aptly introduced there.
Welcome back to another episode Irish again, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
She's not Irish.
me when I talk to any of my Irish family. So it's another episode of Kill Jack Ryan, I guess, is what we're doing now. We watched Patriot games, the one where they forced fucking what's his name?
Harrison Ford.
No, the last guy, Hunt for Red October guy, Alec Baldwin. So we're watching Patriot games, the one they forced Alec Baldwin out of the role because he wanted to do Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway. And so they used that to lever him out of the role and put Harrison Ford in.
Probably a good choice, honestly, on Alec Baldwin's part. I'll be completely honest with you.
Yeah, he really dodged a bullet on this movie.
I mean, if you're going to be replaced by somebody like Harrison Ford, fair enough.
I wouldn't be offended if you guys kicked me off the podcast and replaced me with Harrison Ford. Like, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. You know what? If you can get him, fair enough.
Plus, you get to do Streetcar on Broadway, so it's all good.
Right.
And also, you don't have to be in a film that's extremely racist against the Irish.
That's right. And you know that this film is racist against the Irish because it begins with the sort of like clannad, sort of mournful folk singing, a little bit of flute, a little bit of fiddle. And you're just like, I see what we're doing here.
My earnest belief is that they had like an expert on the IRA on board on this so that they could be like, is this something the IRA would do to him? And if he went, no, they would be like, perfect, print it.
Well, they kind of did, because as much as Tom Clancy was very much, like my opening drop, not an expert on terrorism, and as much as his book, Patriot Games, is both more racist than this in many ways, and also pretty inaccurate, he hated this movie. He disavowed this movie. He wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted his name off of it, even.
My God.
And so, no, basically they did have a sort of IRA advisor in the form of Tom Clancy, this, 60-something-year-old former insurance adjuster. And the thing about Tom Clancy, right, and I'll just say this since we're doing a bunch of adaptations of his novels, is that, much like me, he was an army nerd who was not let into the army because his eyesight was too bad. And on behalf of us blind weirdos, to any recruiting organization anywhere in the world, if you don't let us in, if you don't let us into the military, we take our revenge on the world by making fucking books or podcasts or whatever the fuck else. You have to do it. You have to let us in the military. Otherwise, this is what happens. You get Kill Jack Ryan, or you get Patriot Games.
Honestly. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's probably worth restating our introduction to Tom Clancy and indeed Jack Ryan, because this is not the first film in the series, because we already did the first film in the series, Hunt for Red October, on the free feed last year.
Buckaroo. Big son of a bitch.
Hunt for Red October.
Hunt for Red October.
But so, Jack Ryan, if you're not familiar, the gist of him is that he's a CIA analyst. He's not a field guy. He looks at, like, computers and he, fucking analyzes intelligence and generates intelligence, right?
Yes.
But at the point of this movie, he's retired. He has quit the CIA. He's left his extremely windswept-looking house in Maryland to go and deliver a speech in London. He works for the U.S. Naval Academy. He teaches history.
And they've recast his wife.
Yeah, they've recast
His wife isn't Gates McFadden anymore. His wife, the actress who plays his wife, does a great job of this. But I'm like, where's Gates McFadden?
Yeah, she's Anne Archer, I want to say.
Gates
pretty
McFadden
good.
probably busy doing Star Trek.
But he has a wife,
Broadway.
he has a daughter, and they're taking a family vacation to foggy old delightful London, England. And let me tell you,
God, it looks like shit.
this is what I was about to say.
It does.
If 3 Days of the Condor is a sort of like archival piece of 70s New York, this is perfect 80s London in that everything looks fucking terrible. It's
It looks so
atrocious.
atrocious, honest to God. Like the color grading. Everyone tick off the Kill James Bond bingo sheet. Devon mentions color grading. Grayest shit I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? Perfect. Spot on.
Yeah, we deserve it. The other thing this movie wants you to know is how hot Jack Ryan's wife is.
That's right.
Like, they really kind of draw attention to that. She like gets them champagne and candles, so you're just like, this guy fucks.
Yeah, it's quite nice that so they're on this like holiday whilst he's giving this speech to the Royal Naval Academy. But then they put their little girl to bed in the hotel room, and then the wife orders like champagne and like has candles and stuff, and it's just quite nice to see like a woman owning her sexuality, like in particular like in the context of like a nice happy relationship.
Yeah, sure. It's cool.
It's
Nice.
really sweet actually. It made me like invested in their family dynamic.
But then he finishes his speech, which is essentially, climb the mountain of conflict, unforeseeable, all of this shit. He goes to meet them in central London on the mall. And Sean Bean strikes the movie.
Yeah, 4 exclamation points when I mentioned that he'd.
Sean O'Bean.
Oh, let me talk about
Sean
because the thing
O'Beanie.
is, this
My
is
God.
not a well-known fact, but there are no actors from Ireland. And so, they
is
just
true.
don't occur there. There's actually,
Yeah.
people don't talk about this.
The Irish are like they don't really understand metaphor and pretend. They're like
No.
the fucking aliens from Galaxy Quest.
Yeah,
Or
exactly. And
Drax.
like, there's not a lot of sort of. It's actually a big cultural taboo in Ireland to act in a film. So,
Well, to be fair, St. Patrick drove all of the actors out of Ireland. Like there are
right,
no
that's
actors
right.
there because it was never connected to the mainland in the same way that England was. So
yeah.
they just
So
couldn't
instead, you
migrate.
just have to get English ones and have them sort of make do with their accent, which leads to Sean Bean's first line, which I'm just gonna fucking drop in its entirety because it's perfect.
You mind your bottom, Paddy boy. Move sure and fast.
He's like this the whole movie. It just like
Yeah, Sean Bean has a very strong Sheffield accent and like has
Yes.
his whole life. I mean, I think the fact that a lot of the quote unquote Irish roles in this are just English people is an example of the fact that at this time in British film, and less so now, but still very much the case, if you are an actor and you didn't go to one of like 3 elite drama schools, you will simply not have a career. So like,
you're not getting roles.
all these actors are just like Lambda, RADA, they went to like the best places because that's what you had to do to be in films.
yeah. But so Sean Bean is preparing his young brother, his kid brother Paddy, to do a bit of terrorism. Because what does London have? It has the guards with the silly hats.
It
Who are
does.
they guarding? The royal family. And so a royal car. This is I think
Highest
it's Diana.
stakes royal you could possibly imagine.
Well, the thing is, in the novel, it's Diana and Charles, right?
Yeah.
But because that's too controversial for Hollywood, and because they had, I think Diana might have died. Well, I don't know.
92.
Yeah. Well,
They
even
make
so,
a guy up.
they make a guy up, Lord Holmes, the Queen Mother's cousin, so sort of like a royal no one could possibly be offended by. And so the IRA, or so we believe, attack Lord Holmes's car in front of Jack Ryan, and he like pushes his wife and kid to safety and immediately enters the situation. He like grabs one guy, shoves him up against the car, takes his gun. He kills like 3 people.
Yeah.
Including Paddy. He kills
Yeah.
Sean Bean's brother like in front of him.
Yes, and Sean Bean is like disarmed and arrested. But he sees Jack Ryan kill his brother in front of him. And, this sets off the sort of traditional, inherent, sort of biological Irish urge to blood feud, which this movie really, really just,
Yes.
like, relishes.
Very vengeful people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the thing about Ireland is that after the Warring States period, there was a samurai caste that emerged that had sort of like a code of honor, right, which required that insults and sort of like family hostility had to be avenged.
That's reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what Sean Bean is doing. He's just
Sean Bean also at the start of this movie, a phenomenal mullet. Just
great.
Yeah. Love it. Love to see it.
Jack is shot in the shoulder slightly, and then after waiting 14 hours for an ambulance, he's rushed to hospital.
Well, this is the thing, right? The police don't even show up. It's the guards division that come and break it up. Yeah. I mean, this is before police were invented, so they had to do all of that themselves.
Well, what's important is that American audiences, and this will be the thrust of a lot of my criticisms of this movie, is that it's made for American audiences, who are, as we know, idiot dipshits who don't understand anything. So one of the major things that this movie wants to drive home is that British cops are kind of pussies.
Yes.
And never have a gun, never, no matter what.
It's sort of in the novel, too, is that, like, the British security forces, the British state, are always sort of bumbling affably into a sort of multi-decade occupation of Northern Ireland.
Yes.
Also, this movie, and the novel, in fact, are bizarrely invested in the reputation of the Guards Division. Like, There's a bit where like, one of them is standing guard outside Buckingham Palace, and Ryan's wife literally, like, tells her child, and by extension the camera, hey, this guy is like a professional soldier. He just can't smile. It looks kind of silly, but the English have their ways.
Yeah, she turns to the camera and goes, respect the troops.
That's right.
All troops.
All troops, both sides, all the time. So, yeah, he gets shot. He gets rushed to hospital in the shittiest looking ambulance ever through this, like, grayscale London.
That's right, baby. I just love to see a film that, like, really accepts that London looks like complete shit.
That's true, yeah.
Sean Bean is interrogated.
Yes.
And indeed beaten.
He's interrogated by a two-man team of British cops. Cop number one, David Threlfall, also doing a terrible Irish accent, playing Detective Inspector the Joker.
Who are they, Sean?
He just, who are they, Sean? And he just kind of like giggles at weird times. But his deal is that he understands the Irish honor code of Bushido because he is also Irish.
That's right.
But he's
also learned to overcome that.
Yeah. we all start out in different places in life. Some of us in Ireland, some of us in England. But anyway, so he also has his junior there, Sergeant. I think his name is Sergeant Holmes.
He has his junior Inspector Zenegat.
Yeah, yes. Alan Armstrong.
Alan fucking Armstrong. Owens.
Playing Alan Armstrong. His opening line is,
I'd tear your heart out and serve it up to you with chips.
Again, the English, they have strange ways.
One of the greatest character actors in the United Kingdom. Just firmly, he looks like such a guy. He's never gonna be a main man because you see him and you're like, that's Alan Armstrong. I know him fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
Perfect guy.
He loves to like get into chase scenes, and when his plans are foiled, just scream "damn" in like a very broad, I think, Yorkshire accent. It's great.
Real like throw your hat on the ground and jump on it kind of energy.
Yeah,
like real good shit. And they're playing, and they're sort of doing good cop, bad cop. Where Highland
Owen slaps him and calls him a Fenian bastard. Which
that is correct.
So at least we're laying on the table that like British police are capable of, you know, racism and torture. Fine, good. Yeah. But in kind of a pussy way, though, is the thing. That's the point this movie makes, is like, he slaps him once, and it's like, the point of view in the movie is kind of like, is that it? It's strange.
But Sean stays absolutely silent. He doesn't say anything. Oh, by the way, Sean Bean's character is called Sean, which is very convenient for us.
Yeah, Sean Miller.
Definitely.
But he stays silent. Meanwhile, back in Ireland, we see that this is kind of like a rogue section of the IRA.
Yes.
And one of them goes back, Kevin, the boss, goes back to the guys in the IRA, and they're like, "Look, what are you fucking doing?"
So he talks to not Jerry Adams, who delivers one of the funniest lines in this movie.
The royal family, Kevin. You know that only turns people against us.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. One of the main things the IRA love to do is never kill anyone in the royal family.
No, never. They've
Certainly
never
not
done
nonce
it. They never
on a
will.
boat.
I will point out that in terms of historical prudence, one of the trailers for this movie had the line, "There's never been a terrorist attack on American soil." So, just jot that one down.
That was removed because they decided it sounded too much like a sort of threat, invitation,
Like a challenge?
boast,
Yeah, and it was.
challenge
This
kind of
movie
thing.
caused 9/11.
That's right.
To which the response, by the way, is Kevin says, "We must strike at the royals and the ruling class." And my notes say, "Based."
Yeah, obviously being the IRA, legally all planning has to be done in a pub.
Yeah, of course.
Which I believe
a
is
pub
even
where there
called
is
like O'Bailey's or something like that.
yeah, it's O'Dwyer's. It's literally called
God,
O'Dwyer's.
it's even worse.
And there's like fiddle music in the distance. Everybody's fucking playing river dance.
Oh, I'll talk about the fucking musical stings in this movie. Do not
Yeah, my
worry.
God.
Irish
Do not
noises.
fucking worry.
There are so many times when like an Irish character does something Irishly, and there's just like a little flute thing.
Just like a gentle woodwind refrain in the distance.
Yeah. So
Awful. Again, American audiences are dumb as fuck.
So this movie does kind of predict dissident Republicans,
Yes.
as the novel did. What Kevin is doing is he is trying to start a faction that like sets the IRA and the British to war with each other as if they weren't already, and then he's gonna sort of rise from their mutual destruction is the
Like
idea.
accelerationism, kind of.
Sort of,
Yeah, something like that.
But so Jerry Adams says, okay, fine, listen, they're gonna straighten this all out with you. Don't worry about it. In the meantime, I have to bang this hot chick who
That's
is
right.
across
Let
the
me
bar
bust.
from him. Let me bust.
I don't remember which button it's on. I'm not even going to try.
So he does, right? He takes her back to his room and she shoots him and takes her wig off, revealing that she works for Kevin. Women in the
She's
IRA
wearing a big red wig to pass
Yeah.
herself off as Irish,
yeah.
and she does
Which
this
we all are
multiple
currently.
times.
That's right.
right.
She just has like dark hair underneath because, as we find out later,
She's not Irish. She's English.
We do get to see her in lingerie, which is kind of like,
Settle down.
maybe we didn't need to see that of the
It's-
film, but
yeah.
okay.
also the fact that
It's a choice.
women in the IRA exclusively using deception by means of sex, making this movie as progressive as The Foreigner.
That's right.
The
That's
moral of
fucking
which was, lest we forget, Irish women will plant bombs on you. This one, it's
That's
Irish
right.
women will shoot you in the head with a silenced pistol, to which I am only asking, when?
After that intro, very soon.
Yeah.
So Sean Bean Miller is tried. He goes on trial.
Yep.
And Jack Ryan and his wife get to meet Lord Holmes, who says, "Oh, congratulations! Like the Queen is going to make you a knight, like KCVO, right?"
KCVO, yes.
And we also meet one of my favorite actors, Hugh Fraser, who was
right.
Lord Wellington in the Sharp series, who is the personal secretary to Lord Holmes.
Yeah, he's sort of very supercilious, very like sort of.
Oh, no, thank you terribly so much for saving his lordship's life. Fantastic actor, Hugh Fraser.
It's great. In
A
the
little bit of
book,
a
by the
fucking
way,
Sharp reunion on this set.
yeah. In the book, this is he meets Prince Charles, and the description of Prince Charles in that book is so fawning. It's really fucking weird.
Ugh.
I know it's strange, but so
Hell yeah.
so Ryan has to testify that about what he saw and what he did, and we get your classic sort of smug barrister lying scene.
Absolutely.
Where he goes, is it true that you simply wandered Americanly into the situation? And then he hits him with the gotcha question, one which we're all being asked constantly.
Are you still, Dr. Ryan, in the paid service of the Central Intelligence Agency?
Which is meant to be like an ooh moment, but Ryan just says no, and it just kind of like dissipates.
Yeah.
It's
There's a nice moment when Jack Ryan says, you know, if I did it over again, I probably wouldn't do the same thing. Like we do see that he has some remorse about having killed this kid, Paddy. And he says that in court, but then Sean Bean kind of expresses his anger at him and is just like, I'm vowing revenge Irishly.
yeah. You
Bushido.
killed my brother, therefore I will make it my mission in life to kill you. Fine, whatever. But they go back to the US.
His wife is pregnant.
His
And I'm
wife
like,
is pregnant.
oh, cool, I'm invested in the story of this family.
That's right.
Wow.
We see the same woman again, Annette, her name is. She goes to a rare book dealer named Cooley, who is also Irish, and therefore,
Yeah, this movie treats Irish people the same way that Live and Let Die treat black people, which is just they're all in on it.
Group
every
chat.
single one.
There's literally, well, I'll get to that bit in due time, but so she tells him,
I'm thinking of the same spot.
she tells him to plan to break Sean out of prison, which they then do. We get a nice shot of like 3 identical convoys leaving the prison in different directions, but because they have an insider, because they have inside knowledge, they're able to pick which one. Detective Inspector the Joker is riding with Sean the whole time.
Yeah, and a two cop escort, neither of which have guns.
Because they're pussies.
British. People don't have guns. Yeah, I don't know.
British.
British! The fucking British don't have guns!
The whole time, David Threlfall is like sort of cackling at him, but he's also like, I understand where the hatred comes from, being Irish, as I myself am also that. And this makes no impression on Sean. And of course, the IRA, the IRA dissidents, they attack
the lads.
The lads attack the convoy. They bust open the back of the van.
It's a cool scene. It's really good. It's all like very competently made. All the action, like it's exciting. They bust him out, and then Sean executes the 2 cops and Detective Inspector the Joker.
Yes, and at this point, I'd like to put a big pin in the movie because this is the point at which they stop doing anything IRA related. For the entire movie.
This
At
is like
point,
the last thing.
You could take every one of these like dissident characters and make them any nationality, and it would still basically play out identically.
Yeah. When they kill David Threlfall's character, they're like, "How much did they pay you to work against your own people, or something like that?" And it's like, for that line to work, he's got to be Catholic, right? But he's like, I'm not sure the movie even knows that, and I don't know. It's blundering into this thing of which it knows nothing. And
Even if you knew something about terrorism, which you do not.
It's also very notable that like they don't. The only kind of motivation they bring up is that Sean Bean's father was killed by the Royal Ulster Constabulary, but like the history of the like British occupation of Ireland and like, causing deliberate famines and like suppressing the language and stuff, like it doesn't really go into the politics all that much. And I think that makes it less
loyalism, unionism makes no appearance. It's purely an Irish versus British thing. Everybody who lives in Northern Ireland is Irish, which in itself is a hysterically progressive position for this movie to take. But they don't like it, and that's why the British have to make them be British. There's a scene set in Belfast.
We don't do that with like brutality because we're all like,
we've just like sort of been handed Northern Ireland like we found it in a mad old aunt's sort of estate sale or something. And we're just like, I suppose I'd better hold on to this. But
the idea that we might be like brutal or like execute people without trial or like try to commit genocide is something that this movie like never really reckons with.
It nods at it a couple of times. There's a bit later on where one of the CIA guys, I'll talk about this because so Kevin like is meant to have this meeting with the IRA where obviously they're going to try and kill him for for doing this unilaterally, and he outwits them and kills them. Later on, they find the bodies of those hitmen, and one of the CIA guys working with Jack Ryan says about it.
That's British soldiers getting out of hand, Jack. They're not above it, not after a hit on the royal family.
Which is an interesting
that is a...
Because on the one hand, you get, like, in a Hollywood movie, hey, one of the US's sort of important strategic allies is, able and willing to commit war crimes. Sure. However, it's getting out of hand, it's under provocation, and neither of those two, like, this is, if they're just finding dead bodies, the closest analog to that is the shoot to kill policy, which was nothing to do with any provocation, and it was certainly not anyone getting out of hand. It was a directed policy, and that's something that's totally absent from this movie, is the idea that the British had agency in Northern Ireland at any time. It's something that like is out of their hands. It's something that can get out of hand. And that to me is very curious.
But then James Earl Jones appears.
Yeah, he enters the movie.
James Earl Jones. Sort of your one carryover from the previous movie.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Great
door
to
guy
see
didn't
him.
come back.
No. It's
Fucked
sad.
up.
But so James Earl Jones tells him
That was a great bit.
Sean Miller has escaped from custody because the Brits are pussies. Come back to the CIA. And Ryan says no, because Americans love, Cincinnatus, right? They love
The hero refuses the call.
Exactly, but they also love a guy who just goes back to his farm, right?
Yeah. And his wife is like, good, I'm your wife, and I'm pregnant.
Yeah, and I'm really hot, and I'm smart. I'm an eye doctor.
Yeah, I fuck. So
Shit,
stay
I
here.
would go back to England.
Hell yeah! Like, I want to marry like a really hot American who fucks and is really clever.
So, they put the dissident Republicans on a boat going we know not where, and Sean wants to go and kill Jack Ryan because of his honor. And Kevin and Annette are like, no, absolutely not. We have to go do dissident Republican stuff. We have to do work. We can't actually just be fucking around on your revenge thing.
Meanwhile, back in London, Lord Holmes is like, oh, I won't be intimidated by terrorists. And the police are like, somebody must be leaking inside information to the IRA. At which point Hugh Fraser is like, hello, I'm still in the film.
I'm behaving very normally now. There's nothing suspicious about me.
There's no need for my character to be here anymore, but I am here.
So Jack Ryan goes back to teaching at the Naval Academy. He's teaching ancient history, not very well. And his best friend, Samuel L. Jackson, enters the movie.
Yeah, this rules.
Playing Lieutenant Commander Samuel L. Jackson.
Uh-huh.
That's right. Of young fucking Samuel L. Jackson. Not
really
young, but like remarkably so.
Yeah.
He gives him a joke medal, the Order of the Purple Target.
Yeah, for
which
him like
is funny.
interfering. It's quite funny, yeah.
Yeah, it says shoot me on it.
But then when Jack is walking home, he gets followed by sinister Irish music.
Yes.
He gets like an assassination attempt against him by God's perfect Navy himbo.
Yeah, he's wearing like a Naval Academy sweater that's like 4 sizes too big, so you can fit a gun under there. Because what happens is that he like sees a couple of things that like alert him. He sees the himbo, he sees the car, which unbeknownst to him has a net in it, and you think that it's going to be more of a sort of a PTSD fake out thing. You're like, oh shit, he's paranoid now. But no, they really are out to get him. Because, if they do a terrorist attack in the US and blame it on the IRA, then it's going to, help instigate the war that they want. So the perfect Navy himbo tries to kill him with a silenced pistol, gets fucking air-holed by a Marine guard at the Naval Academy. And then Jack just leaves. He just gets in his car. Doesn't even say thank you for saving my life. He gets in his car and like drives because he knows his wife is in danger.
That's right.
Because she and the daughter are being followed in a van by Sean Bean.
In the 80s, it was legal and it was normal for 2 guys in a van to just sit outside a school watching it for hours before wokeness, right?
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, so that's what Sean is doing. Is he's waiting for Mrs. Ryan to come and pick up their daughter, and then he's going to chase them onto the freeway. And we get sort of a chase scene that it's mostly about being on the phone.
Yeah, mostly about being on a fucking huge mobile phone.
Women be on our car phones.
To the eye doctor, though.
That's true, because we know she's an eye surgeon because we see her do it, and a kind of quite gross scene of eye surgery.
Sort of in service of plot now, Jack gives his wife a vaguely threatening phone call instead of being like, there's just been an attempt on my life and you are also in the same town, so clearly you are additionally in danger. He does like the 3 days of the Condor thing where he just like starts yelling.
I'm always getting calls like that from you though, Dev.
Well, to be fair, that's because there keep being attempts on my life.
Yeah, and you keep thwarting them easily.
Oh,
I know,
easily.
why am
It's
I
not even a
paying
problem.
these assassins?
but so yeah, he does do the 3 days of the Condor
has
thing.
been following me around. For fucking
Well, he's
weeks
just
now.
like, leave freeway now. Go police station immediately. Daughter with, Like it's
Yeah, it's like you could just take your time, man. Just have a breath. Say the information you need to get across.
the whole time he is caning this boxy station wagon down the freeway. It's moving faster than I think that model of car has ever moved in its life. That's quite fun to watch.
It's quite a tense scene, this, actually. Like, when he's, like, trying to call her and can't get a hold of her, and, like, yeah, I like it. I am invested in their family. Like, I make no secret of having enjoyed this film. But then Sean Bean shoots at them, and they crash into the lane divider and get seriously banged up.
They do. Here's the thing, right? We get the scene of him waiting for news in the hospital. First he finds out that his wife is going to be okay, but his daughter might not be.
Yeah, and there's a specific shot that I want to talk about, which is that when we cut to the hospital, when we see the exterior shot of the hospital and then the interior shot of Ryan worrying, in the interior shot, we are next to the hospital chapel, and in the background, out of focus, but in the center of the frame, is the crucifix of the hospital chapel, and it's just a lovely little bit of cinematography, because it just kind of captures that moment of, like, tension, of, like, hope, of prayer, of, like, I really hope things are going to be okay, and like, because that's something that you would probably only see in moments of, like, distress. Like, hospital chapels are places where people go when they are worried, right? So it's just a beautiful, tiny little touch there. It's fantastic. This film's full of them.
Go and redress the balance by going to a bunch of hospital chapels when I'm just feeling good. Just kind of like go in, see what the vibe
cheers,
is.
mate.
Just kind of psychically neutralize them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is the point at which, like, you imagine that he's going to go fully sicko mode, right? This is sort of the start of the Foreigner moment where, like,
yeah, they took everything from him. They took his family.
They took everything from me. They took my family.
You'd think this is the point where he's like, okay, he's lost everything and he's about to go fully sicko mode, but he doesn't, which I do really like.
I do too. He just kind of waits for a bit. This is also before the era of feeling like we had to have any kind of A, shock factor, or B, verisimilitude in depicting, like, trauma patients in hospital. If you did this now, it would be, massive fucking prosthetics and makeup and, like, 50 tubes in them, but instead it's, like, mostly carried on the acting, which for me didn't quite work. But Abby, you really liked this scene, right?
Yeah, I did. So Jack's wife is gonna be okay, concussion, but, like, fine. The daughter is a bit more banged up, and they're kind of not really sure. And just the shot of the child, like, asleep in the hospital bed, like, all banged up, and, like, Ryan watching her through the glass and crying is just so, like, it's fucking brutal. It really, really got me. I don't know. Maybe it's because my family has, like, little kids in it now, and I dread to think, of something bad happening to them. But I found this scene really, really affecting. In particular, a line that we were laughing about before the recording, Alice.
This one.
They had to remove her spleen.
Like, that line that they had to, like, take out a piece of their child, and, like, the way that Harrison Ford sells that, and the way that he tells that to his wife, and then they embrace, like, it really, really got me. I loved this bit of the film.
Maybe there's something wrong with me. I was laughing. I genuinely was. Maybe it's just because I find spleen a funny word, but I was just like...
It kind of is, but also in situations like this, like, things that are kind of, like, absurd but also horrific do come up. And yeah, I found these scenes and one moment later on to just be really, really fucking powerful.
Yeah, well, we see on TV that we have to talk about another Irish guy, because Paddy O'Neill, the Sinn Féin representative in the US, sort of the IRA's bagman, someone later calls him, is outside, and he is disclaiming any responsibility that the IRA was involved, which of course we know they weren't. He's, like, offering his apologies and his anguish. And Ryan just sort of looks out of him at the window with this sort of, like, rage. This movie could have something very interesting to say about rage and about hatred, right? Because there's a bit where he talks to Samuel L. Jackson earlier, privately, after he gives him the stupid medal, where he's like, yeah, no, I just got mad. I just didn't like seeing it happen in front of me.
Just went sicko mode.
Yeah, I just went sicko mode. But... also, incidentally, imagine being Samuel L. Jackson. You have just given your friend a medal that says "shoot me," and then he has been shot at, and his fucking wife and kid have almost been killed.
Oh, yeah, good point.
The hazard of any good bit, I would say, is you just
Jack goes back to the CIA and he's like, "Yo,
yeah, he's like, it's time to go back to the old me," and
I'm back on my bullshit."
James Earl Jones's guy, Cantor, his name is. He offers up a very reasonable objection, right? Which is you're traumatized. B, you don't know anything about this. You know about ships and bullshit like that. And C, you're just going to be fucking getting in everyone's way.
And that does not make for the best analysis, even if you knew something about terrorism, which you do not.
But James Earl Jones overrules him. He's like, no, actually, we should.
Actually,
take
it's
him in.
based.
Yeah.
While Jack is in the hospital, we get our all Irish of the same moment, where he sees on the TV. I don't even know what this guy is actually supposed to be, but it's Jerry Adams vaguely, right?
This is Paddy O'Neill again, right?
Yeah. Who is played by Richard Harris. You might recognize from he's Marcus Aurelius in Gladiator, and he was the original Dumbledore in Harry Potter.
Oh,
which is baffling to have him be. Again, because Irish actors don't exist.
Sinn Féin Dumbledore is a very funny bit.
Hang on, let me gin this up. No, I can't.
No, it's gone. Just imagine that at home. If you want to imagine Shinner Dumbledore at home, go.
We're practicing disarmament, or as we call it, Expelliarmus.
She's not Irish. She's English.
She's English.
That was fucking good. Fuck you.
It was good. I just
tried coming up with a fucking Harry Potter Sinn Féin bit off the term, right?
That's exactly why I didn't say anything, because I couldn't come up with it. I respect yours. Absolutely.
Just say you fell on the grenade of that bit for us.
Truly. Thank you. And unfortunately, this will be the promo segment as well. And we're all going to be dressed very racistly to be Irish. But this guy,
pulling down a big fucking star-spangled balaclava.
But no, we can't do this. But this guy attempts to apologize to Jack because he's like, "Look, we aren't involved in this. This is not an IRA thing. If the IRA does something, they tend to go, we did this, either before or after." But Jack is like, "Fuck you, fuck the IRA."
He's not even like fuck you. He is like so angry.
He's
All he can do
mad.
is point his finger at him, and he just says nothing, and he just leaves.
Great bit of acting. Like,
it is
so good. Harrison Ford fucking brings it in this film.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
But so he does go back to the CIA.
Yes, he does.
We see him just at his desk with a big pile of Ireland-related papers spread out over the floor. He literally has a map of Ireland up on two screens at once, just fucking
He's reading
studying
James Joyce.
this shit. He's rotating it in his mind.
Rotating an island in his mind.
That's right. But so. Then we have to go to.
It's like in the fucking in the Foreign Away. He just Googles IRA. It's literally
Reads
that.
the
He's just got
Wikipedia,
fucking he's reading the Wikipedia for Ireland, being like, I see.
Doing the hunt for Green October now.
Hibernia.
So we have to talk about a scene that I can talk about for fucking ages. We go to Belfast because Owens and the RUC have received a tip about a bomb factory. But in order to get there, we have to get through a little scene in Belfast where we're just establishing that checkpoints exist in Belfast, right? In this case, it is 2 Army Land Rovers pulled across the road, one para with a rifle, and then there's this hysterical bit where a car drives directly into the checkpoint, right into it, and your RUC man says, and this is verbatim, "Good morning, sir. Cut the engine, please. May I see some identification, please?" And it's like,
wonderful.
Who could be upset about that? I'm pretty sure that's how the whole that's how Operation Banner went down, right?
That's the way we treated the Northern Ireland.
That's exactly what it was like driving into a checkpoint in Northern Ireland. Was you got a sir and you got a please and you got another please.
It really is such I don't know anything about the IRA, but here's what I reckon it was like. No. No,
No.
Tom. Tom, no. Go on, sir.
So the RUC quite professionally raid this bomb factory that's just right next to the checkpoint.
Also, none of them swear, which is incredibly funny. As they burst in, like, the Inspector Zenigata's like, good morning. Like, they don't, like, brutalize them or, like, shout at them or anything.
No.
Kill any of them for no reason. Like,
yeah, excesses that the British state might do are, we could get out of hand a bit and maybe kill some people, or we might give you a slap. Anything more than that, right off the table.
There's no chance, yeah.
Yeah. So...
Just deeply funny, deeply funny.
So Jack's working at the CIA, and now he gets PTSD.
yeah, by going into a women's toilet, which relatable.
Yes. The bathroom intruder strikes again. He goes into a women's bathroom by accident, and he sees a woman with red hair, and it triggers him.
Yeah, we're
Just
now
putting up a sign outside the women's bathroom that says, no dogs, no trans women, no Irish.
Woo! Not good.
No. He literally
Not good.
He sees a woman with red hair, and he has flashbacks to the second that he saw Annette in a fucking Tori Amos looking wig drive the car past him when that guy was going to assassinate him.
Yeah, we are now, like, Jack, this is a halfway point in the movie. Jack has now become so anti-Irish racist that just seeing red hair is A, a marker of villainy, and B, a trigger of PTSD for him.
Yeah.
Not good.
But so, also, this is accompanied by the fact of him having the revelation in a close shot that's accompanied by a toilet flushing.
Yes, which will be the...
That is it's like a very unusual choice.
So he's like, wait a second, we need to find this woman, and then she'll lead us to Kevin. Meanwhile, we see that Sean and the gang have gone to fucking Libya.
Okay.
Normal?
So once again, I don't need to go dev mode on the history of Libya. I feel like I may well have even done that before. But the Great Man-Made River is one of the finest things ever designed by humans. But the thing is
from your
the
studies
Irish
of the Green Book, yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, American audiences don't know shit. So the best way to make them realize that someone is a bad guy is to put them in a desert.
That's true.
Which is what this movie does, like, twice, which I really enjoy. But they've sent the IRA splinter group to a training camp in Libya.
Sure. Reasonable enough. I mean, the IRA got arms from Libya. They probably did that. Sure. Fine. Yes. Where Kevin tells Sean that actually you didn't kill his family. You didn't kill Ryan's family like you thought you did. They're still alive. It's just that they had to take out part of her spleen. So you've got like one spleen on your credit, but nothing else.
And Sean calls Ryan at home in the night to taunt him.
Harvest.
I have the spleen button.
Fair enough.
They had to remove her spleen.
Lost her spleen, though, yeah.
It's hard to carve like the outline of a spleen onto like an aircraft or something. It's not really. It doesn't come across.
Yeah, what does a spleen look like even?
I don't know. I'm trying to imagine, and all I've got is pancreas. Yeah.
We do get another really, really nice moment though, which is that when Sean calls Ryan at home to taunt him, like Ryan has his angry reaction, and it would have been very easy to end the scene there, but instead we see the effect that this has on Ryan's wife. Like, she's very upset, and like Ryan goes and like hugs her, and they have this moment where it's clear that this is affecting them in their relationship. And it's really nice that this film like presents their relationship not just as like wife, like some other films that we've reviewed have done. It's nice that they like keep us invested in it, and like I really did care about this family by the end of the film, which is something that I can't say for every film we watch.
Is Sean calling him at home from Libya?
Yeah, it must be.
Has he got on the phone in the camp? Yeah. But anyway, so Sean wants to go back and do revenge. Kevin and Annette are like, no, we have to actually do some work for once. Also, you have to get undercover because there's a satellite that goes over at these times, which we know, and we got to hide.
Yeah, it's decent conceit.
Yeah, it's fine. Ryan then thinks about this for a minute.
Ryan goes to a bar.
Oh God, tell me about the bar.
He thinks about this for a second. He touches his forehead on both sides, and he's like, "Where do Irish people go?" And he goes to the most chain-looking Irish pub in the fucking world. He goes to Seamus O'Doulahan's on Main Street, right? And
the idea that there would be any real Irish people in this pub is fucking laughable.
He goes to the kind of pub that, not the kind of pub that would have a bucket for Norade by the door or anything. He goes to the kind of pub that, like, it fully, like, bicycle hanging off the wall kind of chintz shit. And he walks in like he's entering the heart of fucking darkness. He is frowning at everybody there. They're playing fucking, it's not even Irish rebel music, it's just folk music. And he's like sort of staring at everyone. And then he goes up to the table where Paddy O'Neill, the IRA guy, is. He is sitting with
Paddy
a Catholic
O'Neill.
priest, by the way. Just in case you want to lay those cards on the table.
Woo! Like pig under the arm, like people drinking Guinness. It's like,
yeah.
There's like a leprechaun in the background. Like that's the level we're at.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
It's so fucking funny.
And he's like, give up the dissident Republicans. And O'Neill says, I will never give up my countrymen, no matter what they've done, even if they are trying to fuck me over personally. Which leads to fucking Karl Marx talking to his friends.
I will fucking destroy you.
He promises to fucking destroy the IRA by
specifically getting American funding for the IRA withdrawn.
Yeah,
which is an interesting. Yeah,
it's a real enough threat, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But so he kind of like leaves on that note. Incidentally, Samuel L. Jackson has been in there with him the whole time, just undercover. And just bumps him on the way out. But so now we have to do some really classic shit. You know what we love to do in any spy movie? You know what I love to do in any spy movie? I love to
enhance.
And so we fucking
enhanced
so much over the next, I want to say 20 minutes or so. There's a lot of satellite shit, but so what he does is he retasks the satellites so that they go over at a different time because he works out that they're avoiding them. And he sees from space on the satellite tits.
They get a satellite like image of a bunch of people in the camp, and he's like, all right, shit, zoom in on various things here. And the zoom in process takes 4 hours each.
Yeah.
Where it just like generally like Unix fate, like a big fucking chiron around everything that like zooms in on that. And he sees this person right at the front. He's like, all right, what's going on here? And he zooms right in, and there's something going on, but he can't quite tell what it is. So he goes, can you enhance this?
Enhance, yeah.
And having thus enhanced, he sees tits.
Just some big naturals, just some big beautiful naturals.
They're like, this has to be the Irish. There's no way that a normal Libyan camp would have tits out in it.
Sexually harassing a woman from lower
space
fucking orbit. The space nonce.
Like I'm Elon Musk. Allegedly.
But so
yeah.
So James Earl Jones is not convinced. He's like, that could be anyone's tits.
Could be my fucking tits.
Yeah. But Paddy,
it could be anyone's tits. Like
Paddy comes around, right? As Ryan is in the hospital looking after his daughter, he leaves him a present with the information on this woman Annette, which is where we find out that
She's not Irish. She's English.
Yeah, looking at the IMDb page for this entire movie.
Yes, and they find out that she is posing as a rare book dealer. She goes to Cooley, the rare book dealer that we saw in when they were planning the attack. And so the British cops, they start spying on him, and immediately,
It gets rumbled so fucking fast.
The massive fucking bug that they've planted, the gigantic camera they've planted in this guy's light fixture, is immediately detected by an electrician who incidentally gets the line.
Familiar with Ian Fleming, are you?
No.
No. Yeah, never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
So cool.
This is I love every part of this, right? Because I reckon they're right in central. Like, so I recognize every part of this, and it's so fucking funny to me how much they try to pass it off, because this guy's rare bookshop is in one of like the arcades right by like Green Park, right?
Yeah.
In that sort of like place where it's not really even legal for me to look at anything because of how expensive it is. He's just sort of in there, and they start to chase him, and he heads to the fucking London Underground.
Yeah,
specifically, he's in Aldwych Station, which is, for the benefit of listeners, is an abandoned station that is used for filming in. I spotted it on the wall. And there is a PA announcement for the list of stations that this train is going to stop at. Some of these are made up, but a few of these are just like things that Americans might think sounds London-y.
Oh,
so
please.
I have transcribed the list of stations in order.
Now calling at...
PA announcement goes, Charing Cross train stopping at Oxford Circus, Piccadilly Circus, Sesame Square, Green Park, Acton Town, Hammersmith, Marble Arch, Hampstead East, South Ealing, and Hyde Park.
What?
And that's a straight line trip, baby. I'm trying to put together.
Could you imagine?
Hammersmith.
I'm rotating a tube map in my mind, and I'm like, how have you?
The
Hammersmith.
funniest thing I can fucking
village where they smith hammers. Come on, get the fuck
Come
out
on. Hammersmith's lovely. I lived in there for like half a year. But for it to go Oxford, Piccadilly, and then Green, then like Hampstead, Ealing, and then back to Hyde Park is filling me with such energy. But
here. He just fully escapes. Alan Armstrong gets to say "damn" a lot.
Gives him the slip by wearing an iconic hat throughout the entire chase and just putting it on someone else and getting on the train.
Cooley's iconic cap, which is like a white fedora.
Also, the tube in this scene looks like fucking shit.
Oh, it looks terrible.
Well, yeah, it's an old stock train because they can't move like a proper up-to-date one into Aldwych.
So Cooley is then immediately teleported to Libya because this is the thing.
That's right.
Like, once you do enough terrorism, you just get to go to Libya.
You gain the ability to teleport to Libya. That's right.
Just in time for Jack Ryan to see him on satellite and be like, "Bald dude detected."
He's replying to him at bald.
Yeah, anybody encountering me, bald dude detected, and he's like, "You've got a sunburn too.
Identify the male."
New guy.
Come on.
And this is enough to convince James Earl Jones. But in the meantime, Cooley is like, why can't I go on the mission with you guys to go and kill Jack Ryan? This thing that you're apparently still set on doing because the fucking Lord Holmes is going to go visit him. And in return, Sean Bean just kills him for no reason whatsoever.
So Lord Holmes is doing a little tour of the US. And so Kevin and Annette are like, well, let's go and kidnap him. We'll try again whilst he's in the US. And they're like,
why the fuck did they bring Cooley all the way out to Libya just to fucking kill him?
It's so funny.
They needed his books.
Really funny.
And then Sean's like, well, I will use this opportunity to get revenge. Also, we see Lord Holmes planning this trip to the US, and Hugh Fraser's like, hello, I'm still in the film.
I'm getting a phone call telling me to do evil stuff. But so now we have to talk about a movie, a scene that comes from a better movie, I think.
Yeah, this was really good.
Yeah, this fucking rules.
So James L. Jones is like now willing to sign off on getting the SAS to raid this one camp. And Harrison Ford, Ryan gets to sit in on them, watching the SAS go in, kill everybody on like an infrared satellite feed. And what's interesting is that the CIA guys in there are like laughing, they're joking, they're drinking coffee about it, watching people get killed, and Ryan is repulsed. And I just wrote down here, I hope this doesn't prefigure anything about the future of the CIA.
But this is so good. Like the music and Harrison Ford's reaction to this. There's not really any lines from Harrison Ford.
Shostakovich in there.
It's really lovely that he is kind of disgusted by how flippant and cold this is. Like these people are just like being killed. He also notes on the screen that one person is like wounded and crawling. You can see
like
that on the thermal
moving.
tracking.
Yeah. It's a really fucking good choice to do this entire raid, like abstracted entirely by filming it through like the Call of Duty 4 AC-130 heat vision.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
it's really, really good.
The only shot of the real people that we see is the SAS as they, unfortunately, crest the hill like twats.
Yeah, like
Which
you
they
would do
would
when you're
not
doing
do.
a raid.
No.
One of the major things to do when you're doing a secret raid is make sure the sun is behind you and crest a hill.
Walk over a hill, upright.
Cresting a hill.
The fuck out of yourself. Hey dudes, single gunshot rings out.
James Earl Jones sort of like slaps him on the back and he's like, "It's over." And Harrison Ford breathes a sort of like unsteady sigh of relief. And personally, for me, this is where I would have ended the fucking movie. Is just end it with this. This is how you get your revenge and like ensure your safety, and you spend the rest of your time sort of like, you know, with one eye open or like looking over your shoulder because you're never quite sure. But instead, what we have to do is another half hour of like really shitty action.
Yeah, no, it's really good action movie.
It's good action, but it's shitty as like
It's
the
this
plot puts
movie.
it forth. It's not the IRA, is what it fucking isn't. It's Sam Fisher and his fucking buddies doing like a breaching clear on this fucking house.
Yeah,
like,
they fully take out the State Department security who are there, the state cops who are there.
Because everyone goes back to Jack Ryan's house. Earlier on, we saw Lord Holmes invite Jack to a dinner at the embassy, and we just thought, oh, he's got a special celebration that he can't miss. Would you like to come over to his house? And then, like later on, we see that this is Sally's welcome home party from the hospital, which was just so lovely.
Nice.
And like Lord Holmes is there as a guest, so is Hugh Fraser.
We finished the movie off by everyone goes to Jack's house.
Hugh Fraser does the classic Bourne betrayal thing of shooting a guy in the back with a silenced pistol. By being like, hey, check out this shit down there. And then having
one of the top 10 ways to betray.
Oh, yeah. Having cut the I wouldn't even be mad if I was shot in the back with a silenced pistol. I'd be like, yeah, that's fair. I should have. That's on me. I should have seen that coming. Why'd I turn my back on you? Why'd I go down that staircase in the dark?
The podcaster's retirement, they call it.
That's right.
That's our plan for how this will end.
That's right. But so Ryan identifies that the power's been cut off. It's in the middle of like this huge storm, and he identifies that Hugh Fraser is the mole, and doing some field expedient torture on him by shooting him in the leg. He establishes that like it works. Torture it's free. It's legal. It's a safe and legal throw.
It's legal.
He establishes that all 5 or 6 of them are coming, and they fucking show up too at a time when you couldn't buy cheap knockoff tactical gear on Amazon. They show up with night vision goggles and Uzis.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it's the full Sam Fisher shit. They're wearing like all black. They've got those big ass binocular night vision goggle looking ass things. And the way that the movie communicates, because you can't see any of their faces, that these are the Irish guys. It's the second they appear on screen,
Irish noises.
They pause, and there's a gentle woodwind refrain in the distance.
Genuinely,
like, fuck off.
This movie like uses Irish music the same way other movies use like that discount call to prayer.
Yeah, like the fucking words in filling time. 100%.
Yeah. God, it really does.
Yeah, every time it's an Irish person, like, woo.
Yeah, you have to expect the fucking subtitle to come up like chattering in Gaelic.
Irish, yeah.
Irish noises. So they
subtitle is genuinely on Netflix Irish music.
Well, yeah.
So they Irishly breach the house, but are outwitted and outfoxed by Ryan and Samuel L. Jackson.
Mm-hmm. And Jack's wife, who knocks one out with a shotgun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they end up
dangerous.
Luring them back to their escape route, which is some boats at the bottom of a cliff.
Sean Bean accidentally kills Hugh Fraser and is just like mindlessly consumed by revenge.
That's right.
Two things here. First of all, the way you get to the boats is by, not sure of the difference between the two, abseiling or rappelling, right? For that, IRA abseiling training you were doing in a totally flat desert in Libya. But in order to get there first, fucking Ryan, his wife, their kid, Lord Holmes, and Lord Holmes's non-traitorous advisor had to fucking abseil down first and hide.
Yeah, sure.
Normal.
Ryan like takes one of the boats to lure the IRA to follow them. We then get a fucking boat chase.
It's a fucking sick boat chase. It rules.
I
like this. I like the boat chase.
I don't know why it was in here. I
loved it. I thought it was fucking sick. And Sean kills both Kevin and Annette because they're like, oh, the royal guy's back on the shore. We need to go back. Like, forget about revenge. And he's like, I want revenge.
I can't forget about
Simply
revenge.
love revenge. He rips open his shirt to reveal a big tattoo that says "I heart revenge," and then just executes both of them. Just fully guns them down.
They end up fighting on the same boat, which is now on fire. A boat anchor gets embedded into the deck, and in the end, Ryan kills Sean Bean. Huge surprise, I know, by impaling him on this boat anchor, where he makes a perfect moan.wav. He gets he gets put onto the anchor and he just goes.
Yep.
I believe that during the filming of this scene, Sean Bean did really hit Harrison Ford in the face with an anchor, and that is
Other way around.
Oh,
Harrison
really?
Ford hit Sean Bean in the face with the anchor, and that's why he has a scar above his eye. Yeah.
Oh shit.
There you go.
So
That's hot.
he is killed. The world is saved, and we cut back to them in their kitchen, the Ryans, where they are finding out whether or not they're going to get a boy or a girl as their second child, and we don't find out, and that's
It's so cute. Like the mother finds out on the phone and then hangs up, and Ryan just goes, "Well," and he looks so excited and happy, and then it just cuts to
I gotta get on this progesterone shit, I'm telling you. It makes you enjoy movies this much.
Turns you into a fucking simpering pussy. Listen, what
I don't know what you're
gender
talking
is
about.
this
I'm not on
baby?
hormones. My buddy just did this.
That's true. Mine did too. Yeah, this is a movie about the IRA where nothing IRA-ish happens. Is sort of
true.
your one major thing to note.
It's
I wrote
it's
this
a
down.
thriller that isn't that thrilling.
What's deeply funny is that this just isn't how the IRA operates at all. Not even any splinter group that I'm aware of.
Do you want
this
the
is
drop
how. Yeah, go for it.
Even if you knew something about terrorism, which you do not.
That's right. Which I don't, but I'll tell you one thing. This is how the American audience might imagine that the IRA operates, because this is how American special forces operate. They are the guys who have the fucking desert training camp and come back and do Sam Fisher breach and clears.
They're definitely the ones who wear the NVGs. They're definitely the ones who machine gun a car. Yeah, for sure.
This is the best way that they could possibly get across that these guys are well trained, is just to be what if they were American?
Trying to explain the IRA to Americans. So imagine a burger, and that
Rotate a burger in your mind.
well,
right.
We have a science-based rating system on this podcast. It's called the SCUM system. It stands for SMARM, cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny. So how smarmy is this movie?
I'd say it's low, but there are a few moments where it's quite pleased with itself.
It doesn't suck itself off that much.
There's a few moments where it's movie dialogue. I'm
Yeah, I could see that. I think it's sort of relatively he doesn't really do any lines. He doesn't really do any wisecracks or anything.
It's no Red October. It's just
really
not.
isn't.
It's just nowhere near as good.
Perversely, I think I would have enjoyed this more with Alec Baldwin.
I believe so.
yes,
honestly.
I think so. Yeah.
That's no knock on Harrison Ford. Not that he needs me to knock him. He's a very successful actor. It doesn't quite work for me.
I think that as a sequel, doing it Jack Ryan is back and this time it's personal is a nice direction to go in.
Yeah,
sure.
As I say, I really liked the kind of family stuff. I thought that was a really strong core to build it around. And especially since, we contrast Ryan's happy family life that he cares about with what we learn about Sean, which is he's had a very unhappy family life and lost his brother. How do we feel about a 1 or a 2 for Smarm?
I could do 1 even, to be honest.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm happy to do that.
Cultural insensitivity.
Cultural insensitivity. Well, first of all, for its crimes against the English.
I'd tear your heart out and serve it up to you with chips.
Not a thing.
It's been a while since we've watched a film that has been this culturally insensitive. I think for
It's been a real fucking sec. This is earnestly huge.
It made The Foreigner look like fucking Steven Universe.
Erasing the brutality of British crimes in Ireland is a very serious and ongoing kind of cultural insensitivity. We are still trying to block lawsuits from being brought against people who committed war crimes.
Be illegal to remember some of the shit that we did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, a large amount of the current guys trying to become leader of the Tory party's main thing is it should be illegal to think about what we did in Ireland.
Yeah, because a couple of them were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of them were guards officers there. So yeah, absolutely. Not to mention the fucking noises. Not to mention every
music.
Irish person all being in the same group chat.
That's right.
Is it? I think this is on a par with the cultural insensitivity of Live and Let Die. Not to kind of equate anti-Irish sentiment with anti-black racism.
But since we've had to like numerically quantify how culturally insensitive a movie is, I think we can do that without saying these two things are like equally bad or equally material or whatever.
Yeah.
9?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And for memory, that is what we gave Live and Let Die. So
I believe that is what.
Yeah.
Let me double check. Actually, I'll just.
If we gave Live and Let Die a 9, then we give this a 9, and if we gave it an 8, then we'll give it an 8.
Yeah, I'll double check and let you know.
Unprovoked violence. That's a complicated one because there are some scenes in this where we're told, oh, like violence, bad, not so good, kind of chilling, kind of dehumanizing. But then there's some scenes, in particular, the kind of like one-on-one fights where violence is like, oh, cool, nice. And like the movie has a complicated relationship with violence, such that like if you go toe to toe with someone and win, that is like noble Bushido. But if you use a satellite and like the SAS, then this is like cowardly and bad. So it's like, and also the torture.
It was 9 for Live and Let Die as a side note, so it is 9 for this
The thing
movie
is,
too.
Ryan's like always forced to use violence apart from shooting the guy in the leg, which is, field expedient torture. It's good and it works. Is certainly an unprovoked violence attitude to take. So what do we think about a 3?
Yeah, I'm happy with 3. Dev?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And
It's like there's
misogyny.
just not a ton of provoked violence, but that is like stuff that I am earnestly repulsed by, such as torture.
Misogyny. Well, from space. This
Tits
man
from space. Also, like
identifies the
the women sexually deceptive. They will use this as a weapon against you, which we will, and is true, but you shouldn't say it.
Yeah, that's right. The silence pistol is like out the minute we're in lingerie, but at least she only does
All the
it
time.
once, I guess. It's not like a recurring thing, and she does do other stuff. It's just that the other stuff is be identified by her tits, which
If you ask me, more lingerie sets should include a holster.
yeah. Well, the thing is, you got to have the little like. That's why garters exist, is so you can keep a pistol in.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I tell you that
That's right.
I'm good. I am after a certain procedure which is taking place extremely soon. I will be buying so much fucking lingerie. So I will get one that comes with a gun holster. No
Hell yeah,
problem.
get it custom done.
I will wear it on
Like
the
a
podcast,
lacy
and
gun
you
holster.
listeners will know nothing about it.
That's right.
So misogyny. How do we feel about a 5? Maybe.
Maybe a bit strong. Four?
Yeah, because that's like 2 off maximum.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's true.
I forget.
I
we
forgot
put a
how many
7.
7 was. I forgot how to count for a second.
Yeah. So 4. That gives us a total score of 17, which is that's the worst one we've seen since Casino Royale. Oh no, since No Time to Die.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Season
that's,
2 has a new sort of champion for the worst movie we've seen.
Yeah,
That's sort of
fuck.
commensurate with how much I enjoyed it, but I feel like that's not the case for you two. I feel like you both like.
Listen. I sort of turned my mind off for a great deal of it. In analyzing it post hoc, it's like, oh yeah, this sucks. But like, it's like competently made.
Well, that's the thing. I find it just competent enough to be truly mid. Like, I was taking fewer and fewer notes too because I was just watching it. I just wasn't enjoying it very much. I just found there wasn't a lot there. Really, it was.
I disagree. I liked it. I thought it was exciting and well made and well acted. I thought it was a good sequel to Hunt for Red October. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with the next one, which is
Clear and Present
Clear and Present Danger.
It certainly has more of like a focus on family, right? Because I mean, to discuss masculinity on this podcast regarding masculinity.
Oh God, fuck, shit. Masculinity is when you intervene in a
Socioeconomic.
terrorist attack by like
Protecting role, yeah.
women and children. You like shove your nuclear family to the side and you go do the stuff that
We
men
must
do.
protect women and girls.
You know, sometimes women do it, but their gender is like alternately an asset for deception and a handicap.
That's right.
As trans people, we are, of course, against the family in all its forms. We seek
right.
to destroy it and undermine the West. But we recognize what this film is trying to do.
Yeah. So
Indeed.
Shit,
We don't
I mean-
do Kronsteins or Goodnights for season 2. Nothing has come up yet that we think would be a funny
we
medal.
got to do another run of like pins, but we'll gin something else up for those.
We did have an idea a little bit ago about some sort of award for giving away secrets so fucking easily.
Yeah, the Brian Cox Memorial Award in Intelligence, yes.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
a secret kill squads.
but I'm not going to tell you, go on. Oh, all right then. Like, that in and of itself is such like a common occurrence, but I do want to give the dude who does it an award each time.
Yeah.
And I think the Brian Cox Memorial
I'm
Award.
gonna give some kind of award to the SAS for cresting that hill.
Oh yeah,
dipshits.
but the Avi Alice Joint Bad Drills Awards.
I love that.
But it only remains for me to say thank you for listening. We have a Patreon. You can subscribe to it. You can get some more bonus episodes. The most recent one we did was 3 Days of the Condor, where we had our producer Nate on. It was great.
And next time it's my turn to choose, and we're doing Totally Spies the movie. So.
Oh my god. And next time on the main feed, it is
Queer and
Pleasant Stranger. Yeah.
Some of all queers. What?
yeah, some of all queers. Yeah,
some of all queers, indeed.
Well, goodbye.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. We will return in 2 weeks' time on the free feed with Clear and Present Danger. Again, another Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan movie. But if that is simply too long for you to wait, not to fear at all, because on the Patreon, patreon.com/killjamesbond, all one word, next week, our bonus episode will be on Totally Spies the movie. I swear to God, Abigail. But, yeah. So if you're excited about that, feel free to tune in. Thank you, of course, to our £15 and above patrons, and those are Christine Fox, Fawkes Winchester, Paint McCullough, Jack Holmes, George Rohack, Thomas Oberhardt, Sirob... Oh, God. I mean, it's Nick Boris in backwards, but I have no fucking clue how I would possibly pronounce that. Yarrick, Carolyn Tankersley, Benno Rice, Max Kapinski, Morgan Bennett, Kit Devine, Library Hitman, Max Gaiman Hart, Jonathan Gurley, Hell Bloodhands, Kentucky Fried Commie, Dread Pirate Robin, Saphira Lucifer X, Fremen Commissar, Jen, Ellie without the E, Top O, Big Titty Goth Girl, Sydney Steckel, Mothman, Trip, Jay Martindale, Charlie Out of the Closet, Jenna and Paul, Zoe Shepherd, Elizabeth Cox, Turfs, Eat Shit and Die Alone, Finn Ross, Alfredo, Raised on a Diet, I Make Devon Say This Out Loud, Wolfie, Al Irving, Rail Leal, Millie, JM111519, Bon LeBon, Josh Simmons, Lauren Baston, and Tristram Wolf. Thank you very much. Kill James Bond is Alice, Abigail, and Devon. Our producer is the wonderful Nate Bethay, and our podcast art is by Maddie Lipchansky. Our website by Tom Allen also. Love you. Bye.